Look, I found this.
Oh, how many you got? Oh, you got so many of them. Did you both get bubbles?
Every time I think about my mother now, I think about flies. The flies that swarmed her room on the day we found her on the floor of her home, weak and dehydrated, from a condition called C Diff, and where she laid in her own stool for over 16 hours.
Oh, it was all just runny feces just all around her. And so I didn't have rubber gloves. I wasn't going to try to lift her or do anything. And Kathy said, "Hi, Hattie, I'm your other neighbor. You know, we're getting help." And your mom just I think she gave up.
I had never heard of C Diff, more formally known as Clostridium Difficile, and nor did I realize how potentially dangerous the bacteria was. Nobody, no doctor, no nurse who treated my mother ever told me.
Patients who are infected with Clostridium difficile actually will experience symptoms that can range from just mild diarrhea, but can actually proceed to very severe recurrent diarrhea, colitis, and in rare cases can actually cause perforation of the intestines and death.
She suffered a humiliating and painful death 2 days later from an infection I and a million other people never even knew existed.
And I'd never heard of this before that. I'd heard, you know, maybe on the radio about superbacterias and stuff like that, but never really related it. You know, and now, like, we're in the middle of this personal situation where, you know, our family member is affected by it, and I didn't know what to do.
But I later learned that hospitals and nursing homes know all about it.
And look at paper
Because that's where my mother got it. Her medical records confirm it.
She tested positive for C Diff on 5/30/08. So it's about a 9-day span. And that's plenty of time to be infected by the nursing home community.
I tried legal action, but that went nowhere. I couldn't get a single lawyer
What's her name?
willing to take my
Jules,
case.
J-U-L-E-S.
Death by C Diff, they said, is much too hard to prove.
Jeffrey Feiger, one of the biggest hotshot attorneys in America. Let's see what old Jeffrey has to say. It was my pleasure to make your acquaintance and review your possible legal claim. However, I am writing to inform you that this firm will not be able to represent you in any legal matter relative to the recent inquiry.
I checked around and did some research and found out just how serious C Diff was. In 2008, the year that my mother died, it was at an epidemic level nationally.
The cost that we spend on Clostridium difficile infections in the hospital is pretty much equal to, or in some studies has actually surpassed, the amount of money that's associated with methicillin-resistant Staph aureus infection. So it is pretty safe to say that we are experiencing an epidemic of C. difficile infection in our healthcare system.
Over 500,000 people contracted it that year. Over 30,000 will die with little to no acknowledgement from the medical community at large. Now, the particular C. diff bacteria that killed my mother attacks the gut of primarily elderly patients. And it's so powerful that there isn't a single antibiotic known to man that can permanently stop it. What is really disgusting about C. diff is the fact that it comes from only one source. human feces. Yep, that's right, poop. This deadly anaerobic superbug, which can live pretty much anywhere it wants, can thrive for over 3 months on clothes, blood pressure cups, IVs, food, furniture, bed sheets, you name it. And every day it kills more and more people. Even healthy young patients are at risk. My wife had a colonoscopy performed at a local hospital, a procedure that is known to transmit C. diff. Yet not a single mention of the possibility of contracting the bug from either the admissions nurse or the doctor or even the discharge nurse. And I'm left wondering, why? Now, even the government has a role in this by not requiring full disclosure of hospitals and nursing homes when it comes to reporting C. diff cases. The overall cost of C. diff annually is $3 billion, most of it paid by you and me to treat an infection given to us by the very institutions we trust with our health care.
There's multiple things the hospital would like to cut from our technical unit, and we are currently in negotiations with the hospital to pursue this further.
And with the onset of Obamacare in 2014, along with healthcare worker cutbacks and labor disputes and millions of additional patients taking up valuable bed space, killer infections like C. diff will spiral out of control. I promised my mother, I literally swore on her grave, that I would investigate the deep, dark secrets about C. diff. Now that's why I'm producing this documentary. It will be a long and frustrating journey. This I fully understand, and I also understand I can't do it alone. I will need your help. So please, if you have any information at all that I might be able to use, like maybe testimonials or documents, video, or even some advice, it would be greatly appreciated. And if you'd like to throw a couple of bucks our way, well, that would be even better. You see, the word C. diff needs to become more than just some obscure medical term. It needs to be revealed, it needs to be exposed, and it needs to be discussed. It needs to be explored and conquered. And quite frankly, it needs to be stopped. And we can do that together.